I am Tamara, and today I am going to walk you through everything you need to know to print out that PDF pattern correctly. This is a 3-step process. I'm going to make this video short and sweet. Step 1 will be how to print things properly, so we'll jump on over to the computer. Step 2 will be how to piece all of these pattern pieces together correctly. And then step 3, I've got a few little extra tips and tricks in there for you to tape your pattern together properly and in a way that you will be able to reuse your pattern more than once. My particular pattern is for my animal rag quilt, which that tutorial is going to be out real soon. I'm so excited about it. But no matter what PDF tutorial you want to print, they're all pretty much the same, so I think I've got you covered. Let's jump on over to the computer and get started. So obviously, make sure you're reading the PDF instructions for the PDF pattern that you are trying to print. I'm just going to go through my pattern here. Have a look at how many pages you are printing and see if you need to print all of those pages. For my pattern, there is an optional page 30 that you don't need to print. It's just labels if you choose to use them. Then it's time to click print. Now, a few of these settings in the print section need to be changed. I do recommend for the very first time that you're printing, you just print a sample page, print one page. That way you can measure the pattern piece and make sure that it is printing correctly. Some patterns will have a 1-inch block printed on it, and other patterns will have a ruler along the top. Either way, it's a way of measurement. So once you print out that single page, then you can take your ruler and measure to make sure that all of your print settings are correct. Now let's go back and make sure that we have the correct print settings. Make sure that double-sided is off. Make sure your paper size is the paper that you're printing. And then the important part is the scaling. So click on scale instead of scale to fit. As you can see, it's at 109. I want it scaled to 100%. Now different patterns may give you different percentages for you to scale it to, so definitely read your pattern to make sure. But for this pattern, make sure it's scaled 100%, and then the pattern will print exactly as created. Now let's jump on to step 2, where we actually piece all of these pieces of paper together. So once you have printed out all of these paper pieces, then it's time to prep the paper. So what I like to do is I like to cut away all of the right edges of my paper and the bottom edges of my paper. I find this incredibly helpful because then you will be able to line up the notches from one paper to another paper. Each pattern might have different notches, but it's the same process for every pattern piece. You have to be able to line them up and tape them together. And as you can see on my pattern pieces, the triangles have an end to them, and those triangles need to line up. So that is the area of paper that I am trying to trim away from the right and from the bottom, just the excess leading up to those little triangles. And I do like to cut between 3 and 4 pieces at a time. Your PDF pattern will come with numbers and letters across the top of all of the pages. So my pattern has rows that are labeled A, B, C, D, E, and then columns that are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Prep your pattern by stacking all of the A's together, B's together, and so on. And now you can start taping your pieces together. So grab your first stack, which for us is stack A. So we will tape page A1 to page A2 and just line up those triangles. And then a little trick here, at least that I like to do, is make sure that my tape goes across the edge of where the pattern is. So you can see the pattern lines already lining up. I want to try to make sure that my tape lines up over those lines. That way, when you begin cutting out your pattern, you're already ending up with connected pattern pieces. As you can see here, I have officially taped together the row A pieces, and now I can move on to my next stack, which is the B stack, and tape them all together the same way. Do this to all of your letter stacks, ending up with rows. Now it's time to connect the rows. So you'll want to connect row A with row B, lining up those triangles the same way. As you can see here, I'm coming to an area where I'm starting to see a bit of a bubble happen. That's okay. You can just go back and untape that little section and then retape it up so that the lines are still connecting and you've taken out that little bubble. Continue doing this so that all of your rows have been connected together and you've got a large grid of pattern pieces. Then you can rough cut your pattern pieces out before trimming along those lines and neatly cutting out your pattern pieces. Then have a look at your pattern and see if there's any spots that need to be connected still. So as you can see on this pattern piece, I've got that loose little flap there on the bottom. So I'm going to add a little bit of extra tape there. I like to turn it over to find all of the extra areas that might need tape. Once I've taped all of those little flaps down, my pattern piece is ready to go. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and of course, I hope that you'll check out my PDF pattern, which is an animal rag quilt that I have written up so that it can be easily put together by beginners. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.